Hello and welcome to PubShorts. We are doing episode 45. Is this what we want? My name is Dr. KK. I'm Innovation Officer at Trinca and Inago, and I have with me Tony O'Rourke. Hi, Tony.
Hey KK, I'm Tony O'Rourke. Everyone, I'm VP for partnerships here at Inago, and I look after our relationships mostly with publishers, but I also work with universities and research organisations. And do you want to tell everyone what PubShorts is, KK?
Yes, PubShots is a weekly episodic live stream or a podcast, you can say, of all the leading stories and news and developments in the field of academia and publishing with a sort of tilt towards AI related stories and innovation and technological improvements in the
Yeah,
publishing things. And we talk about everything, and we live stream on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification icon. And if you resonate with the content, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and let us know, let Tony and me know through social media or LinkedIn what you would like us to cover. Right, Tony?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Contact me at inago.com.
Right. So let's start with the first story. This is a China related story related to AI. This is an essay published in Nature. So it's titled China Made Waves with DeepSeek, but its real ambition is AI driven industrial innovation. So I'll read out a couple of points that I noted. So China is moving beyond DeepSeek is what the hint of the story is, and focus is on AI driven innovation, Tony. And the
Yeah.
goal is practical and cost effective tools for global markets, especially targeting lower income countries. And there is less focus on consumer apps. The AI that we generally talk about or know about is consumer apps. So
Yeah.
it is. Basically, they are trying to build mass market solutions. So they are trying to make these solutions scalable and less expensive and exporting AI. So my question to you is this: is the state-backed AI initiative is in the terms of a mass market application will also touch the publication industry, and will we see Chinese innovation lead the way?
I, well, that's a difficult thing to really clearly speculate on. I think anything that is coming out of China in the field of technology, we have to monitor very closely.
Mm-hmm.
Is it leading the way? Is it developing applications that are unique? I don't know. It's interesting that they're focusing on the industrial side of things. I think that's a clear opportunity, and particularly targeting some low income countries as well. I think they're creating some very exciting opportunities and almost trying to build new markets in a sense,
Yeah.
which is kind of there was the one road policy they've had for years.
Right. So let's see where China brings its AI in the publication technology realm. But we have
Very interesting to see how DeepSeek develops. Really, really come out and made an impact very quickly.
right. But Tony, we are moving to the hottest news story, I think, from a couple of weeks ago, but we are covering it now. Microsoft says that it has created a new state of matter to power quantum computers. Now that is straight out of a sci-fi novel. But anyway,
Yeah,
so this is they're calling this innovation a topological qubit. So what is a qubit? It is a different state of matter. It's not a solid. It is not solid, liquid, or gas. It's a phase of matter that many thought was impossible, and it could potentially solve a lot of problems. And so we are not experts in quantum computing, but my question to you is this: I mean, this will potentially change the game, and could obviously there are positive and negative repercussions to it. One of the positives obviously is solving the world's problems, but the negatives is that quantum computing advances also mean that we are the risk of people breaking through passwords and security restrictions that are there, and we are already struggling with that. That could be broken in microseconds and not hours and minutes. Would this cause a problem, especially in the context of data security and privacy in the publishing realm? Is my question to you. Do you think that?
well, I, the fact that it's Microsoft that's bringing this to market and not a university, not a global research organization, is interesting. They clearly see they've developed something which they think has got huge commercial application. They're going to be fully aware of the ramifications when it comes to security. And yes, I'm sure there is going to be an increased risk. Um, but Microsoft are going to have a lot of pressure placed on them by governments and by organizations around the world to ensure that's not the case. I think it's too early to say, but we have to watch this.
Right, and the one thing that I noted is that Microsoft is claiming that quantum computing, like I think mass market quantum computing was decades later as until this invention was there. Now it's only years later. So we have, as for Microsoft, we have gained many decades in terms of evolution of quantum computing.
KK,
Yeah.
I used to work in physics publishing, and for about 12 years I worked in physics publishing, and kind of the message I got all along when I was talking, I'm not a physicist, but I
Uh-huh.
used to ask about this, the hot topics that were coming through, was that a quantum is not reality. Quantum is sci-fi. Quantum is something which is really very unlikely to manifest. And here we are,
Yeah.
you know, a few years later, talking about an actual product and an actual new state of matter that's been developed by Microsoft. Amazing.
Well, I have a response to it, and there is a research-related response to this discovery. So it's a Nature news article states, I mean, title: Microsoft claims quantum computing breakthrough, but some physicists like you, I guess, in your former past, are skeptical. So the announcement, unfortunately, Tony, what I just showed you, the news story, was made with limited technical details, sparking some skepticism. And
Yeah.
Oxford physicist Stephen Simon is cautiously optimistic but is not fully convinced. And Microsoft apparently has conducted private briefings with select experts and publishing interim results in Nature, but no definitive proof yet. So it's a bit of a is a black mark in terms of transparency and in terms of revelatory sort of research from Microsoft. What do you think? As it
Oh, come on! I mean, this isn't a university. This isn't a private research. This isn't a public research organization. This is Microsoft, a huge commercial organization that's protecting its intellectual property. I mean, I'm not. It doesn't. I'm surprised they've even revealed what they have done so far to the detail that they have. And I'm, the physicist is absolutely correct to be skeptical because he, rightly so, will want to see evidence, will want to see proof, will want to see experimentation, and want to see it confirmed in an independent laboratory.
yeah.
Or laboratories. So, it doesn't surprise me at all.
And it's not the first time that such breakthroughs have been met with skepticism, but in this particular case, topological qubits are expected to resist noise, as per this news story, which could simplify potential applications. So let's hope that this works out. Now we are
Yeah,
talking about
the interesting thing is, KK, we're talking about security. We have tools in Inargo which will protect author data. So
yes.
if this becomes a reality, then we have to adapt our products accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, what we do is called sensitive data plan. Basically, we ensure that your data, your research data, or your information is not stored in our servers while we help you with your AI
Yeah.
content assistant. So please check out by visiting trinka.ai and finding out more about this sensitive data plan. Now, Tony, I'm moving on to OpenAI, an OpenAI news, and it is an interesting, especially interesting news from the point of research integrity as well, I would say. So that it's a digital trends news item. It is titled OpenAI cracks down on Chat GPT scammers. So it's Chat GPT is currently apparently being used by over 400 million weekly users. And what Chat GPT and OpenAI have done is to remove malicious accounts which have misused ChatGPT for scams. So, what are the scams we are talking about? Disparaging articles about the U.S. government, I suppose, from a Latin American account, fake resumes, and translation comment generation for a lot of scams. Anyway, so this it has a sort of indirect, effect on research integrity as well. In the sense, such measures will protect integrity, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I think, and as 400 million users worldwide, I think they're absolutely right to put security and at the top of their agenda.
Right. I mean, scams. AI assistance is always there. We encourage AI assistance use, but in a moral, ethical way. And if you're
Yeah,
using it for science, then please uphold research integrity and scientific rigor and everything while you use it. And wherever you need to, you have to state or acknowledge or attribute that you have used it, especially in your research outputs. Do you agree with that, Tony?
absolutely. Research integrity stands on its own. Regardless of what tools the researcher uses to do their research or to write up their research, the issues still remain. Those integrity issues will always be there. And be honest and open about how you use these tools.
Right. And we are going to another AI DeepSeek related story. This is from BGR.com. It's titled DeepSeek is rushing to get its next generation R2 model out sooner than expected. So,
Yeah.
do you know why? Because of the emergences of, the announcements from other AI brands like OpenAI and the co-scientists from Google. So it's a response to that. So what does R2 do, or what is DeepSeek's makers hoping to do with R2? To enhance coding skills and support multiple languages, and there is speculation on a May release date. So I mean, the AI competition or the release calendar is heating up, Tony. So
I'm losing track. There are so many new releases coming out every week. Every time we have an episode, there is a new release of OpenAI, ChatGPT,
yeah.
DeepSeek. It's almost endless.
Right, Tony. So we are ready for quick hits. So can you explain to the audience why we have titled the episode "Is This What We Want"?
Oh yeah, well this is a measure or an act that's been undertaken by the performing arts industry. People like Paul McCartney and others who have stood up and said they oppose the use of AI within the creative arts without proper licensing, without proper control, and they've created this album called "Is This What We Want," which, as you are showing here, includes more than 1,000 musicians and the sound of silence. I'm interested to see what a contribution actually is. I mean, if it's silence, what have they done? They just put their name to it? I don't know. I need to hear it.
It's
Or
a
not. I need to see it.
Well, it's against Britain's AI laws in terms of AI taking over the music industry, and they
Yeah.
protest. It's a protest. Musicians have known to protest in their own unique ways. I suppose this is one such thing. So, what is a silent album? So, these 1,000 musicians have recorded studio silences, empty studios, and put a mic in empty studios and rehearsal spaces, and that in its entirety is the album. I don't know what the runtime.
Fascinating. I've got hundreds of blank CD cases, which I
It-
like that.
no, there will be some hiss and static and everything, Tony.
Oh,
It's not. It's
nice.
it's not absolute silence. It's not a blank CD, and so.
Oh,
So,
this is what Abbey Road sounds like when nobody's playing anything.
so the protest targets proposed UK laws that could allow AI to use copyrighted materials without explicit content. So I think it's for a good cause.
Oh,
And
absolutely. I think musicians, performing artists, performing rights in general, their industry is under huge threat. I've seen some of the things that are coming out of the US recently about the use of images of actors and actresses' images in without their permission in films. How do you know what's real, what's not? How are they going to be compensated for their work
right.
or for their use?
And musicians rightly fear that this will erode creative control and harm the
Yeah.
industry. So, I mean, this is applicable for many industries. And obviously, some of the names, as mentioned here, Elton John, Cat Stevens, Paul McCartney, and, the list just goes on. It's a unique way to protest. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm going to pay to buy this album, but if I'm going to check it
I
out,
might stream it.
that's a good response. So going on to our next quick hit, Tony, the biggest ever AI biology model writes DNA on demand. Again, it's straight out of science fiction.
Absolutely.
So this AI model was trained on 128,000 genomes, a huge data set, and it can write whole chromosomes and understand complex DNA sequences, and it was developed by Arc Institute, Stanford University, and NVIDIA. So this is called Evo 2, as far as I understand, and is available for scientists to use and adapt, and it's already is able to predict the effectiveness of cancer-related therapy, gene therapy, and everything. So I'm very happy. One other
Oh, this is
check mark
incredible.
against practical clinical applications of AI, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really positive use of AI. I mean, there are lots of positive uses of AI, but this is one that's shows a positive health related impact.
Yeah, and the a related another development is AI tool diagnoses diabetes, HIV, and COVID from a blood sample. Again, an article from Nature. This one uses a one-shot machine learning approach and screens immune cells to detect overlapping symptoms. And it is already tested on 600 people, and it has identified health condition So I'm just happy we are having positive real world applications of AI while we are also discussing the potential of AI,
Yeah,
impairing research integrity.
you're absolutely right. As you get older, as one gets older, one sees a doctor, nurse, more and more about relative things, and it's slightly frustrating that you go for one blood test, and
Mm-hmm.
that blood test doesn't sort of cover other things as well. So you'd hope there'd be one blood test, and there'll be the technology that would be able to screen uh, all possible ailments without having to take millions of liters of blood every time.
Well, sounds like screening that the kind of screening technologies that we develop to help publishers to screen manuscripts for all sorts of content, right?
It
Once,
does. It does. It does.
yeah.
Far more. Uh, yeah. Yes, it does. Be careful with my adjective there.
All right. The last story is related to India and AI, and I think we have talked about it already. India is investing a lot of money, and we'll see how much money it is to develop its own AI model. So the government has allocated rupees 2,000 crore, which is about 260 million US dollars, in
Right.
the union budget, and this model aims to be cost effective and ethical. And currently, this was what was caught my eye. It is India is considered to be fourth in AI innovation globally.
Yeah.
So, this first indigenous AI foundational model is expected to be ready by the end of the year, and with a projected cost of less than dollar one. $1.15 per hour after government subsidy. Now, I say this with the full awareness that OpenAI's latest model 4.5 costs about like 70 times this much of run cost and everything. So cost effective, yes, maybe India will probably lead in terms of cost effective models. Any thoughts on this? Do you think this is a
I suppose my only thoughts, KK, is that it's taken so long for the Indian government to position themselves. I mean, we all know the brilliance of technology, some of the technology and some of the development skills coming out of it. They've been in India for years. Why it's taken this amount of time for them to have developed their own AI strategy? I'm sure there must be AI activities going on, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. The India is doing sweeping sort of reforms in the research space. If that the one nation one subscription policy just came into action in the start
Yeah.
top of the year, and that
Yeah.
changes a lot for publishers. And Tony, I guess you're aware that we have published a report to help publishers, suggest next steps in terms of what they need to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're perfectly positioned to help publishers, who need to position themselves in India.
Yeah, and you can find the report on our website. Please, if suppose you are interested in figuring out your publishing or generally journal strategy in India in the context of ONOS, we would love to have a conversation with you, and we would love to help you out in terms of how to adapt to it. Right, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
just contact me.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our episode 45. Is this what we want? Probably our shortest episode, maybe after the first episode, because we want it to be short. But there is so much news that and the conversations always are interesting. So, Tony, if somebody wants to get in touch with us or find more about PubShorts, Inago, Trinka, you, me, how can they do it?
They can contact me at tony@inago.com. We're both available on LinkedIn. So you can find us there. And we're looking forward to hearing your comments or suggestions about future episodes.
And that brings us once again, to the end of episode 45. Is this what we want? And for Tony and for the rest of the team that helps us bring such content to you, this is Dr. KK signing off. We will see you in the next episode. Bye, Tony.
See you in the next one.